in my role as global government and public sector leader in Ernst Young, I actually often use the example of Singapore to talk about that combination of short-term direct management on a day-to-day basis, but a very, very deliberate focus, a choice that they are making to also be very, very focused on long-term issues. And the whole engagement that the Singaporean government and the Singaporean civil service has with the concept of scenario planning and deliberately looking at what might the future look like and what do we need to get ready for and what do we really want to avoid to happen and how might we do that is actually something that I think governments elsewhere can learn from. Well, we know that governments will need to build much more diverse public services, but also obviously see diversity in leadership roles in the public sector. And so what does diversity mean? I mean, obviously we're talking about diversity of age, we're talking about diversity of gender, we're talking about diversity of cultural background, thinking, of course. Diversity of thought is ultimately what governments are after here. And why do we need it? I mean, we need it, of course, because governments are now dealing with some of the most complex issues maybe that human beings have ever faced. I mean, if you look at issues such as climate change, you look at the prolonged nature of the economic crisis, which is of course about a very significant shift about how we conceive the economy around the world. If you look at other issues such as food security, for example, these are all big long-term systemic issues that really need a long-term focus, but also that aren't easily fixed. In a world where there is no such thing as a domestic issue any longer because everything is interconnected, you need your best thinkers to find the best solutions. And so I think, therefore, this whole focus on making the public sector more diverse, going for people in leadership roles that bring different ways of thinking is absolutely essential. Now, I think some governments are clearly trying to do that, but that's big change. I mean, that's a very different concept to how we have historically thought about civil service or public sector careers.